Midwest supply managers are raising concerns over tariffs. A new Creighton economic report shows the biggest worry, higher import prices.
First Alert 6, Philip Katafamo tells us how this could impact your wallet.
Brian and Jacqueline, tariffs against countries like China are impacting buying power from Midwest supply managers. According to the Creighton Mid-America Business Conditions Index, only 1 in 10 supply managers expect economic conditions to improve over the next 6 months. Creighton professor of economics Dr. Ernie Goss tells me tariffs are not the only cause for concern for these suppliers. Availability is also a problem. He says businesses may have already worked off inventory they previously purchased. Now, as supply managers are restocking their inventories, some are trying to find ways around the higher import costs. One of those ways, purchasing items through less impacted countries like Vietnam.
We're seeing more and more goods through there. Now, unfortunately, some of those goods are Chinese goods transshipped from China to Vietnam to us. Now, the president's tried to get a handle on that by putting penalties on that type of environment.
Dr. Goss says it can be difficult to find certain materials like metal or plastic through other countries. He does expect some products like cigars, shoes, and clothes that are imported could get more expensive and become less available. This is something to monitor as we get closer to the holiday buying season. Now, Dr. Goss says the reason consumers have not felt the effect of tariffs yet is because companies are absorbing that cost for now. Time will tell if companies can continue to offset that cost to keep products somewhat inexpensive for customers. In the newsroom, I'm Philip Katafamo, First Alert 6.
Two children's